I teach the philosophy of asma. So Asi, the word comes from Persian. Asi means sky, and Mam means inside, or the philosophy of the sky in me, or the divine in me. There are two greatest challenges in life that we're all here facing. And one of them is finding the answer to the question, who am I? And the second is in finding acceptance and living according to that answer. Self-confidence is a reflection of self-acceptance. But Asman furthers more on that, and it says that self-acceptance is a reflection of self-knowledge. And not just any knowledge, but knowledge that brings us back to the peace within us. Because there's a lot of information out there, but if that information doesn't bring us a sense of peace or pleasure to the mind, that's what peace is, then what's the use of that information? It's the same as we're already full, but we just eat more food just to stuff our bodies. We don't necessarily need it. Without the peace within, what we end up doing is we end up going around in life looking for the place where we belong. And how many of us look for the place where we belong? Some of us can either travel constantly. And underneath that constant need for travel, for searching of new places, new things, it's that need of where do I belong? Or some of us may constantly feel like we need to belong to groups and communities and people. There's another way of where we belong. Others can use sex as a way to find the place where you belong. Constantly changing partners and looking for different sexual experiences, encounters, and material gains and things that we're trying from the outside to give us some kind of sense of pleasure are just ways that we unconsciously are looking for where we belong. We learn where that place is based on the 3 axioms of the philosophy. The first axiom of Asimov states that we're all students coming here in this lifetime learning our own curriculum. So we cannot compare ourselves to anybody else. Because if I came here with my little chart, which gave me these attributes and qualities, for example, I have a ball, and my job, my learning curriculum here is to be a soccer player. Does it mean that I cannot be a model? Possibly, but what is the price I need to pay to be a model? And if that's going to cost me my peace, is it worth it? So if I came with these qualities and these attributes, my job here is to live my life as myself. Because this is the only route I can find peace. And I cannot compare myself to you, or anyone else outside of me, because your attributes, your learning curriculum is completely different than mine. The second axiom of Astro-Philosophy states that we are all alone. Everyone around us is simply a projection of us. For example, I can see you one way. He's going to see you in a completely different way. She is going to see you in a third way. And the truth about you is completely independent of how we see you. And that pertains for all of us. And the philosophy of Asimov is here to teach us how to find who we are so we don't get lost in the constant daily projections about us. Axiom states that we live in a matrix or in a dual reality or dual world. There is hot and cold, day and night, breathe in and breathe out. Now, I'll please ask everybody, take a deep breath in, fully. Inhale in, hold it. Can you breathe in again fully? Breathe in more, breathe out. There is just so much we can breathe in fully before we take our breath out. We breathe in what's pleasurable, but to keep the balance in life, we need to breathe out when we face the discomfort that we're facing. So we cannot just breathe in more pleasure if we don't breathe out. what's unnecessary. Confidence is simply the reflection of self-awareness, our own awareness of who we are. Because when we, or the mind, it's like a child. It likes to forget or hide information about us that's uncomfortable. The mind likes to have things easy. It doesn't like to stress itself out. It doesn't like to be overburdened and overwhelmed. So to have it easy, we can even fool ourselves or lie to ourselves very easily. For example, sometimes very easily people think, oh, I'm very smart. And that's what they build their confidence on. And then somebody else shows up with more information that makes their statements, let's say, invalid or incomplete, then their confidence drops. So the intellect, it's something we're all here to develop, but it's impermanent. It evolves over time. Information evolves over time. So just because somebody's smart or intelligent doesn't give a sense of confidence. The same thing with looks. Looks, they change over time. In many ways, they depreciate. So anything that's looks related, mind related, possessions related, those are things that are impermanent in time, so they can all be things that we can base our confidence on. The only thing that's permanent is what's within us, our soul and our spirit. And that's when we have that connection with our soul and spirit and all the journey we're here on, then we can only experience the true sense of peace within, with who we are, what path we're living on, and find the confidence. But we're going to explore that today through Mercury, which is our mind. Like I said, the mind likes to play tricks on us. It likes to fool us. It likes to doubt itself. So the way we build that confidence will be different for each and every one of us.
Now I want you first to take 3 very slow and deep breaths in. And breathe fully into the belly, keeping your lips closed and sealed. And exhale slowly through your nose. Breathe in. And exhale. Again, breathe in. And exhale. Now imagine your 7-year-old self and bring that image towards your third eye, right between your eyebrows. Or do you choose to take a train there? Everything is possible. Just remember, your chosen way of getting there. And as you travel
Afterwards, which is the main part, and this is why I want to focus today's workshop more on, is looking at each and everyone's individual birth charts, because the way to building our confidence in who we are is very individual. There's no one formula that works for everybody. As we all perceive and see the world, and our mind just works differently. Let me ask you first this. Do you do anything creative? I'm speaking about writing, music.
So I really like to write, but it's more, I like to write my thoughts down. I think I enjoy the creations of others, but I think my creativity is I'm not doing something creative at work. I'm not doing something creative but I am the kind of person that thinks outside the box. I'm the kind of person that always tries to find a way around something that is set in stone and find a better way to do it. So I'm creative when it comes to, I guess, challenging the status quo.
You have the way you perceive the world, this is how we think, we communicate, this is what our mind is. You see in a very artistic way. You can even see fairies and almost like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter kind of worlds. And you can imagine that.
That's really funny to say that, because when I was really young, I didn't want to write fantasy novels. It's something I wanted to do when I was young.
You wanted to? Yeah. Did you have a lot of fantasy dreams? Yeah, you did.
I used to create fantasy worlds. There was no story behind it, really, but I used to just create fantasy worlds.
And that point was came to your awareness. You probably don't even remember it, but you were very little. You were maybe like 2 years old. From very little, almost an infant, you have these fairy tales and imaginations in your mind. Did you ever share them with anyone?
So when I was younger, I used to draw. I used to do that, and my parents would always ask me, "What are you doing?" And I told them, "No, this is going to get you nowhere. Stop it."
This what?
They said, "This is going to get you nowhere. Stop it."
That's where the problem comes. The moment, that's why I say we are born the way we are. There is beauty in that creative mind. The problem becomes the parents. If the parents told you, you automatically deny yourself the right to express your imagination. So you hide it. But it continues living, and if you don't give it a sense of expression, you're going to completely torment your mind to the point of where you can lose your mind.
So you're talking about dissociation?
Find it difficult to make sense out of anything in life. And you can go to 5,000 psychologists and nobody's going to understand what the issue is. It's simple. With you, it's simple. All of these, you have it in you. It's something that's just completely denied and rejected because your parents never allowed you to express that. I can't even be in your head to imagine what you're imagining. But the only way I can access that is if you write it down and express it. You can write it down, you can make a video out of it, but you have something very valuable in your own imagination that is very creative, it's very rich. It's like a whole different world. And imagine that whole different world. Could be somebody across the world that's sick and that is going through some painful experience and sees what you have created or reads what you have created, that can heal them, even like soothe their soul. So you're only doing the service to yourself and the whole world if you don't express that. And the moment you allow yourself to give life to that, to those thoughts, to that imagination, you won't feel lost in life.
Yes, we think of cards correspond because it's Page of Swords, which is a great house of items. So imagine another page. So imagine you're a 16-year-old and you are very pessimistic, right? You think the only way to live is this way. You may be wrong, but this is your way of thinking. Nobody will judge you because this is the only way which is true. So, as she said, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. 10 of Pentacles, because eventually it will lead you towards very strong family filled with love and wealth, respect. Maybe you will find somebody who will share the same ideas of it.
Yes, he's right, because your confidence, it's in the fifth house, which is related to love, creativity, and children. But the thing is, when the child is hidden, you don't have the reflection to see that confident side of you. It's like somebody can be around you, can be a great love partner, but because you're hiding, they don't see you. That's where the loss comes from. It's like I'm being reflected to loss, but I'm not expressing anything. And like I said, with Kurt, so it's like the key. The last thing, a whole new world. Yes.